Ooh, I better get up. Good morning, family and friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nyamaka Rosilla, and today I'm in Salisbury in Wiltshire in England, and I've come. Well, I've been here all weekend, and the reason I came here was to participate in the Alzheimer's Stonehenge 2022 trek. So I've done that, and it's completed. I stayed an extra day just to recover from walking 26 miles, and so today I'm headed back to London. And so I decided to do my vlog here whilst I was up here in Wiltshire. That's Salisbury Cathedral there, which you can see, magnificent. You're seeing it from a side angle, I would say. Yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful cathedral. I think it was built in 1207 or 1107. I mean, quite early on. This is hundreds and hundreds of years. And there is something in English history called the Magna Carta, and that's the first document that was made to demonstrate to the monarch and members of parliament that none of them are above the law. And it is said that the first copy, or one of the first few copies, is lodged here at Salisbury Cathedral. Okay, so that's a little bit of history for you if you're interested. Anyway, so here I am today at Salisbury Cathedral, and basically yeah, it's a lot of reflection going on. Obviously, I'm back in the UK for a couple of months. I live now permanently in Sierra Leone, but obviously I can travel, for holidays and family reasons. But the thing is, now that I'm here in the UK, my main thing is to see my son. Once I see my son, that's it. I'm ready to go back to Sierra Leone, which is an interesting perspective. But of course, the UK is home, as well as Sierra Leone. But Sierra Leone more so because that's the land of my birth, my ancestry, and all of that. So today, what I was going to talk about, I mean, there's a few stories floating about the internet, and one of them is that some girls were found to be making sex tapes, basically, and doing all sorts of things on these sex tapes. Of course, for a community that is as conservative as the one in Sierra Leone, it did raise quite a few eyebrows, and that's putting it mildly. And also a lot of condemnation, which is fair enough. People have a right to their opinions. They have a right to believe in certain things based on their experiences, religion, background, culture, and so on and so forth. But, for some of these girls, now we all know that the poverty that exists, not just in Sierra Leone, but across West Africa and perhaps the rest of Africa, really, is just mind-blowing. It absolutely is unbelievable. I mean, it's to a point where sometimes parents can't even look after their own children. And they don't care, really. I mean, they're so poor that they would literally send out that child to steal, beg, and do anything out on the streets. Those are the hard facts, I'm telling you. They would literally send out these children to do anything that they could to get money, either for themselves or to feed their families. And sometimes you see children out in the streets till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, as young as 9, 5, 4. I mean, I've seen toddlers out in certain parts of the peninsula and Freetown out as late as those times that I'm mentioning. So when we have girls who may be 17, 16, 18, 19, 20, going out and absolutely killing themselves doing unspeakable things, that are made into pornographic material. Does it surprise me? Not in the least. Not in the least. Because some of these kids have really, 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 really hard times that they undergo. You know, nobody cares for them, nobody looks after them. The parents cannot, sometimes they don't know their fathers, sometimes they don't know their fathers and their mothers. Somebody's dropped them off at an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a grandpa, or somebody somewhere, someplace has dropped them off someplace and nobody cares for them. You know, so if they get up to all sorts just to earn a little bit of money to get by or to feed somebody in their families or to kind of hold on to the dream that somewhere, somehow, they're going to be expunged from this disastrous life that they're living. I mean, can you blame them? I've seen kids wake up in the morning and you know they've just woken up someplace in the morning, God knows where they sleep, and they literally chuck them out of where they have slept into the world, and they're out there first thing in the morning, 7, 6, 7, stoning fruit from the trees so that they can get something to eat. That's how bad it is for some of these kids. So when I hear about and see videos of young girls having people put a whole fist into their backside, or yeah, that's how grim people's lives are, and do unspeakable things to them. I'm sorry that I've had to mention some of the things that have gone on, but you know, people need to know these things. People need to know that some of these children are undergoing an obscene amount of indignities, really. You know, I'm a healthcare professional. I'm telling you that there's nothing I haven't seen. So, of course, that sort of thing doesn't do anything for me by way of shock or horror or anything like that, because I've seen most things in life. I'm not saying every single thing in life I've seen, but even if I've not seen it, if I hear about it, it doesn't even shake me, because I've seen a lot of pretty grim situations in this life, you know. And these are the sorts of things that some of these kids are subject to. They have to do it. They have to get by. They have to feed themselves. And then, of course, there's the pressure of the internet, what is seen on the internet, how some people live out in the Western world. Of course, Africans just believe that in Western countries, everything is nice and good and right and proper and so on and so forth. So when they see some of these acts on the internet and it's actual people in the Western people behaving in this way, they think, oh yeah, well, I can do that as well, or that is civilization. They actually think, because they, it's not just a generation now, because for generations black and African people have been told that they're not worth much, or you know, they've been subdued to a sort of inferiority complex. So because of that, whatever it is that they see outside in the world that's going on, and they see people are able to do these things, and they're getting on with it, really, aren't they? They make money out of it. There's the Kardashian culture. There's, I don't know, people doing sex tapes. There's all sorts of things. And these young people are vulnerable to these things. They see them, they pick them up, they want to follow them, they copy, they earn money from it, and all of that. So it's a grim, 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 grim sort of reality that we're in. The other thing is that we have no organized system of supporting people through families and communities through these issues. Poverty is just something you get by with, you know, like no, there's no proper plan by governments, as far as I can see, to get people out of poverty into the next stage of life, a place where they perhaps are beginning to think about self-sustaining. ideas or implement those ideas and so on and so forth, because you have to have some sort of strategic plan. First, to change the ideas of humans, and then to get them to a place where they can move on and do things a little bit more beneficial for themselves and their families and the communities they live in. But we don't seem to have that sort of a concrete plan. What we have generally in Sierra Leone is a plan of how to people in authority, how they enrich themselves, and all you hear about is exotic holidays that people who are leading go on, and how much travel they travel and how much money they're getting out of the public purse. And every single day you see instances of the fact that people do need help in that country. They do need a way of moving things forward. They do need people to sort of do certain things to make life go forward. For example, I think that you could place pressure on parents to actually look after their own children. You could place pressure on them. You could tell them that they needed to make sure that their own children were in school. And when people have children, ensure that these children are registered. We still have situations in Australia where children are born at birth and they're not registered. They're not registered at birth. There's no birth certificate for them. We still have many, many, many children that are unregistered. So we start with the small things first. Instead of spending copious amounts of money, withdrawing 100,000 from the public purse to support the leader on holiday, we could use those monies for other things. I mean, corruption affects everybody negatively, affects our society, it affects people. We see that we are getting poorer and poorer compared to other places that are comparable, actually. And I don't know why it is that we cannot take simple steps to halt the poverty, the rise of poverty, and to halt the decay in society that is going on. There are things that we could do. Simple one or two instances, that we could implement as a nation to bring some of these problems under control. But I know I'm spouting out a lot of words, and a lot above knows whether anything would be done by anyone in my own lifetime. I really absolutely don't know. And, I'm not hopeful. It results in what we have today. Children, scores and scores of children being uncared for. They're just about the streets. Nobody wants to know anything. The police don't ask them, who are you, where are your parents? The police don't want to know stuff like that, actually. They're not interested. Social services, ditto, the same thing. I don't know. I mean, the police would rather go out and beat people up, for, I don't know, anything minor that comes to mind. They are used. It seems like no institution is independent in our country. The institutions are used to support anything that government wants to do, instead of being on the side of the populace. So those are the issues. I mean, it's all very well these girls being condemned for making sex tapes and videos and putting it out there, and people talking about these things and talking about the morality or lack of on the part of the girls or people, or the young people that do it. It's all very well, but life is hard. It's very tough, and some people have no way out, absolutely no way out. They've had no guidance. They were literally born in the streets. Some people do not have parents to fall back on for guidance, for support, to show the way or anything like that. There's no instruction that's given, no law compels the parents or the communities to look after their young. So poverty just overcomes everything and anything that you can think of and doesn't offer a solution. Do you know what I mean? So because there is no solution, people have to find things to make sure that life goes on. Yeah, so that's how it is. I'm very aware that the elections are coming up next year. So I guess it's another chance for people to sort of choose wisely and make sure that at least some small thing, incremental thing, is done year after year after year to pick up the population, to make life better, and to give hope, give hope and life to people who need it, who desperately need it, and who are out there and they're seeking, just to kind of live and make things a little bit better for themselves. It's just so sad. It really absolutely is. Anyway, thank you for listening to my channel. Look at that. It's beautiful trees, isn't it? So do please subscribe to my channel. It's lovely to have you on board. I hope to come back on soonish. All the best. Cheers.